So, you're building a software service. You've got multiple customers. Well, right from day one, you're up against one of the biggest architectural hurdles there is. Where does everyone's data actually live? Sounds simple, right? But get this wrong, and it can be a total disaster for your business. So how do you make the right call?
To make this all a bit more real, let's invent a company. We'll call them DocuSphere. They're building a brand new cloud-based app, and their goal is to help businesses manage all their sensitive documents. They're fired up, the product is looking great, but they have a problem. As those first customers start rolling in, customer 1, customer 2, pretty soon customer 100, the engineering team has this huge question mark hanging over their heads. Should everyone's data just get thrown in together? Or should every single customer get their own private, walled-off space? The answer they choose is going to define their cost, their security, and their ability to scale for years.
And that, right there, is the heart of what we're calling the DocuSphere dilemma. It's a choice that will make or break their success, and honestly, it's one that pretty much every multi-tenant application has to face.
It's this constant tug of war between three really big things. You want Fort Knox level security, but you're probably working with a startup budget, right? And you want everything to be simple, but your customers are asking for more and more data isolation. So what are your options? Let's break down the patterns that DocuSphere was looking at. All right, first up is the most common starting point for, well, pretty much everyone. We'll call it the pool. Just think, maximum efficiency.
So what does this actually look like in Azure? Well, it means you have one giant blob storage container for all of your customers. Think of it like one massive digital filing cabinet. And inside, you've just got folders labeled Customer A, Customer B, and so on. The key thing here is that it's a logical separation, not a physical one. Everyone's stuff is technically in the same box.
And wow, the trade-off here is crystal clear. For a young company like DocuSphere, the pros are huge. It's super cheap and really easy to get going. But the cons? They're serious. You've got the noisy neighbor problem, which means one customer who's using the service like crazy could slow things down for everybody else. And security? It takes some really complex role-based access control, or RBAC, to make absolutely sure customer A can never, ever, ever peek at customer B's files.
And this quote, it just perfectly sums up that internal fight, right? The business side sees that beautiful low-cloud bill, while the engineers are seeing future all-nighters and potential security holes.
Okay, so maybe the pool feels a bit like you're playing with fire. If so, there's this fantastic middle ground option. Let's talk about the container model.
Now, with this approach, we're not just using named folders anymore. Each customer gets their very own blob container. We're leveling up from just a logical separation to a much stronger physically enforced boundary. It's like we're moving from simply labeling folders to giving each customer their own locked drawer in the filing cabinet.
You can see the upsides right away, can't you? You get much better tenant isolation, and the security model gets way, way simpler. You just grant access to that whole container, and you're good to go. But you know how it goes. Nothing's ever free. Each container adds a little bit to the cost, and all of a sudden you're not managing one thing, you're managing hundreds, maybe thousands of them.
And here's where this model really starts to shine. Because they have a separate container, DocuSphere can now offer each customer their own unique encryption key. For businesses in, say, healthcare or finance, this isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a must-have. It's a huge security level up compared to the pooled model.
Okay, but what about those really big clients? The ones who demand the absolute best of the best when it comes to security and isolation? For them, we've got one more option: the silo.
Yeah, this is the fortress, the Fort Knox model. We're not just giving the customer their own container anymore. We're giving them their own storage account, their own database, their own everything. You're basically spinning up a private, single-tenant version of your app for every single one of these customers.
I mean, the pros are unbeatable. You get the absolute maximum security and guaranteed performance. It's the gold standard if you need to meet strict industry compliance rules. But, and this is a big but, the downsides are just as huge. The cost and the complexity just go through the roof. Every new customer means you have to kick off this complex, time-consuming process to build out their entire dedicated infrastructure.
And that quote? That's the whole business case, right there in a nutshell. This architecture isn't just a tech decision, it's a sales tool. This is how you land the whales, the big Fortune 500 companies, and government agencies. Okay, so we've got the pool, the container, and the silo. Three really solid options. But how on earth do you choose? Let's walk through the framework DocuSphere used to land on their decision. You can't just guess. You need a framework.
First, you got to figure out what level of isolation each type of customer actually needs. Do you have a free tier, a pro tier, an enterprise tier? Second, you have to run the numbers and calculate the cost for each model. And third, and this is crucial, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. What can our team actually handle? A complex silo model without some serious automation is a recipe for pure chaos. And this all leads us to this, the final blueprint. It's a perfect map of each technical pattern to a real-world business need. The pool is perfect for getting started or for a free plan. The container, that's your workhorse for your standard paid plans, giving you that great balance. And the silo is your premium white glove offering. And you know what's really cool? Most successful SaaS companies don't just pick one. They actually use a mix of all three.
So when you boil it all down, it really just comes back to these 3 levers you can pull. Every single decision you make about your multi-tenant storage is a constant push and pull between isolation, cost, and complexity. The right answer totally depends on your product, your customers, and what you're trying to achieve as a business.
So I want to leave you with this one last thought. Your storage model isn't just a bunch of code and configuration. It's a statement. It's a reflection of your entire business model. Are you built for maximum efficiency to get the biggest market share? Are you built for balanced security to serve growing businesses? Or are you built for maximum isolation to win those giant enterprise deals? Your architecture tells a story. What story are you telling?